greetings on account of Dashera. I hope everyone has now kind of rejuvenated themselves after Srikhand Puri and whatnot yesterday. So anyway, I think it's a good start today with this lecture from our breakfast series at SEEP. So my name is Ashutosh Parasnis. I'm a part of the SEEP committee, and one of the charters which we have is to organize these kinds of networking events. I think some of you have been attending these very regularly, but if not, the motive and intent of these sessions is really to involve and invite people from different fields, and so that they can share their thoughts with a broader forum of the SEEP membership. Whether it is innovation, whether it is today's topics such as transformation, we have touched upon topics such as finance, HR related topics. So the idea is to have topics which are cross-functional and also to some extent cross-industry. Cross-industry may be a misnomer when we say SEEP, it is IT membership, but at the same time I think the IT members and IT companies themselves understand that there are so many different nuances to the IT business itself, whether it is infrastructure, applications, product development, so on and so forth. So I think that's really the intent, and I would appeal to all of you present here is to sort of spread this word, because we will really want people from different companies, whether they're startups, whether they're multinationals, established corporations, etc., to sort of come forward and tell us, if you have any thoughts to share, if you have a particular speaker in mind, let us know. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the committee has a limited reach and has a limited bandwidth of thinking about what all we can do, but I would invite everyone to come and participate in this forum. To introduce today's speaker, I think all of you have seen the invite, so I won't repeat myself. But Mr. Sandeep Barve comes with, number one, a very rich experience. He does come with an IT background, but once again, I think what we found it interesting was the domain which he has been is different, especially the financial services or the banking institutes and stuff like that. So obviously, while the central theme may be the same, which is IT for SEEP members, I think the perspectives can be largely different. And of course, he's going to talk about a very engaging topic on transformation. I think, how many of you have been through transformation? Any kind of transformation? Okay, so I think that's a good thing. Probably a few hands didn't go up. I'm sure, look at it any which way, I think transformation is all about change. Change is all about challenges. Change is all about overcoming resistance, whether they're personal resistance, whether they're resistance over others. So I think it's always good to hear how to deal with these things, to understand the why, what, how of transformation. I think we all understand transformation is required today, but dealing with it is altogether different. So I think someone who has been in such efforts and initiatives, who brings along such experiences, I invite Mr. Sandeep Barve to come and share his thoughts with us on this topic. So please, welcome Mr. Sandeep.
Thanks Ashutosh, and thanks for the introduction as well as thanks for the participation. Today's topic, transformation, as Ashutosh mentioned, could be a buzzword, could be a need of the hour. Before I start, certain things that I would like to share and express is basically this is not something, what I am going to present is something to understand. Probably it is something to reflect upon, something to introspect, something to look into either your lives or what is happening in the companies without really reasoning that, because that is what we are excellent at, analyzing things and making our own interpretations. I think within the transformation, I am going to touch upon a little bit on these aspects of what we are best at and what we should rather be doing to transform ourselves as individuals that would anyway transform or make the transformation in the organizations and in the society at large. So that's my humble request. We'll reserve the questions in the end. I would appreciate that, and try to correlate. So let's start with the journey of transformation. This is something which I had mentioned, and you might have seen that as a part of the communication that you had received from SEEP. Is basically here we are, whether we like it or not like it. Basically, this is what the condition is. There is stress in environment. There is stress in the atmosphere. There is something that need drastic change. There is something that we are struggling with, be it the fast and changing and disruptive technology world, changing structures, and incessantly we have seen, let me narrate one story, probably this you might have heard earlier. There is one company where a new CEO is joining, and there is a veteran CEO. Before leaving, before handing over, he tells the new CEO that I'm happy that you are joining, you are energetic, I see a lot of good ideas in you, and I'm sure you will be able to take this company to a new height. Just as my little grey hairs and an elderly and experienced advice, I would like to hand over 4 envelopes to you. Whenever you think you are in trouble and you are kind of helpless, maybe try out, open out those envelopes, and I have serially numbered those. So these are 1 to 4 envelopes. Try it out. And the new CEO starts with energy, starts with a lot of ideas and all that he brings in. And after 6, 8 months, 9 months, he starts seeing turbulence. He starts seeing lethargy in the organization. There is a dullness. There is no enthusiasm and all. So he starts thinking, okay, let me see what is there in that envelope. So opens the first envelope, and the matter there reads, bring in drastic structural changes in the organization. So then he gets on and drastically disturbs the organization with a lot of organizational changes, brings in a lot of hierarchical changes, and that vitalizes the energy, that creates a new kind of euphoria in the environment. New people have new responsibilities and new positions, so organization again starts jumping, and those people start bringing the organization up from the lethargic curve where it was. Another 6, 8 months passes, and then another similar situation. There comes the second envelope, which reads basically introduce drastic process changes or do some certification or something, right? And again the cycle continues. Third envelope he opens and it reads, bring in some drastic cost cutting measures. That survives another 6, 8 months, another 8, 9 months. Finally comes the fourth envelope. It reads, it's time for you to prepare your 4 envelopes. So that is what basically we have seen in majority of the organizations. There are repeated things, structural changes I have witnessed lot in the organizations that I have witnessed, I have worked with, all majority of the MNCs, and we used to get sick and we used to have jitters if for a month we didn't hear anything that there is somebody appointed, somebody is going out, some changes are happening, some new structures are created, so on and so forth. So that is what is in the environment, that is what is there. Stress is there. Obviously, we need not talk about this as an SEEP and IT organizations, so everybody knows what kind of stress we run through. This is the present, and let's see what specifics maybe we can bring into this, because what I spoke about is at a high level. Let us see a couple of examples or close to what is happening in companies. What could be possibilities? This might be happening in your company, or could be similar something that you might see in the environment. One of the example that I see quite often is HR department, is that a profit center? What I mean by that is basically number of times we have seen cases, every organization has their kind of compensation limits drawn, and they'll say that for a 10-year person, my organization will pay in the range of say 9 to 12. And quite often we see that when the candidate is shortlisted, selected, he fits the bill, he or she, still HR goes and offers him 8 lakh. And then the negotiation happens, and then they settle down somewhere around 8.5 or quarter to 9 or something. HR pats on their back and says that, look, we got a guy in the lowest percentile. Excellent job done, right? Is HR really a profit center? What are you sowing the seeds? The guy comes in, finds out in the organization there is something disparity. I have not been paid at par, I have not been paid, I have not been recognized at the value. Should HR be doing that? Doesn't that happen quite often? Doesn't that we see quite often happening? Another example may be hiring within X days. What is the target of HR? What is that they are contributing? What is that they are bringing to the table? Is it their target only getting people, hiring people? Or there is something more to it, that the people should be fitting the organizational culture, the organizational vision and mission. They should be in a position to take it forward. Delivery puts the pressure, HR is in a hurry, we hire people, the KRA is satisfied, everybody pats on back, yes, we hired so many people within so many days, excellent, job done. Where is the talent? So, maybe an example, let's see another area of finance, okay. Have we seen drastic changes in finance department? They have been accounting, they have been producing results. What else? Yes, there are quite number of CFOs today aggressively talking about business. There are quite number of CFOs interested in getting into technology. If you read today's Economic Times, Arun Gupta, Cipla's CIO, is telling that it's no more only CIOs understand technology. It's CFO, it's CEO, and it's almost entire management team. So the vendors will have to start thinking from that. They have to transform, they have to change the way they are approaching. But what is the involvement of finance? Where is BI into finance? Finance has plethora of data. Try to understand every project, they can really produce data and use that for subsequent analytical and decision making. Yet we see finance is only into accounting and maybe producing results. Finance business partners, they are there for a follow-up. Oh, my TA bill is pending, my this bill is pending, my travel allowance is pending, so on and so forth. They aren't really engaged in the business. This might be the case with many of the support departments. What is happening with delivery? Do we really collaborate or we compete? They're in the organization itself, they are bringing that competition, internal competition. We always call it, oh, it's a healthy competition. We know underneath what happens. What are the undercurrents happening in the organization? Are we really collaborating? Are we really looking for one single objective, or are we pulling each other's leg? It might be happening out of personal interest, it might be happening, but that is there in the atmosphere. It remains in the atmosphere, it's not collaboration, it is competing. Hordes of data, projects remain unpredictable. And this is something survey says, and I am baffled with that. 70% of the projects fail. They fail either on cost count, either on delivery, either on your quality count, so on and so forth. And the most important aspect, how many of you feel that the performance management system does create a good impact, or does it leave a bad taste at the end of the day? What are we looking at? We are looking at Banner scorecard. Can that change? Can that change? Because today we have generic goals for all the people. I have been of late associated with golf, and there one thing I realized, that being a cricket or football or any other game, I play chess as well, here I am competing against myself. I am not competing against any